I'm sure that interview was a lot more interesting later on in the interview.
Pardon me, Max or you? Bro, you fucking me up, twin. Never tripping traffic in the
Yo, that's
driveway.
crazy. He just said Max messing him up, bro. Max ain't messing him up, bro. It's like Max is saving you, bro. Right here in this instance, he's saving you. If y'all thought Lil Baby was gonna pull up on Max and record on stream and I wasn't gonna react to the session, y'all tripping. But go ahead and like the video, leave a comment, and stick with me to the end because I'm pretty sure this is gonna be funny, right? Because if he's the engineer right here, I don't know him. You know what I'm saying? I know he had a white girl that used to record him. I know his mixing engineer. I know the other mixing engineer, QC, and I know the other female engineer that used to work with him. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know him. I don't know him. But we're gonna see how this goes because Max is definitely not engineering this one. I didn't read the comments. I seen a lot of stuff circulating online about the session, so we checking it. Oh yeah, chat, let's go. All right. All right, the beat too loud. You turn the beat down. Like step one. And it's looking like the engineer right here, he don't know what the hell is going on. I could like, you know what I'm saying?
Yo.
Just up rap, put down my shoulder. 3-4 deep, we growing my nose. Real G nigga, I'm keeping my pose. I ain't selling rain, ain't selling no slack. On my fire, ain't selling my sack. On my phone, I'm selling my rap. On that phone, I'm running no rap. You wanna repeat, I can see like I'm ready. All this shit on one way. Sure, I'm feeling the money. Man, I push out runway, yeah. Shawty rock and push out runway, yeah. All this shit going one way.
Fix it back.
Come on down a little bit. I'ma get it all done one day.
I go to Walmart.
Shawty rock and push out the runway. Mama gonna live like Monday, yeah. Money come Sunday to Sunday, yeah. Shawty rock and push out the runway, yeah. Come on. Money come Sunday to Sunday, yeah. Money come Sunday to Sunday, yeah. Shawty rock and push out the runway. She don't like Monday, yeah. Shawty rock and push out the runway. She don't like a nigga like fun, yeah. She don't like a nigga like Monday, yeah. Come on. Money come Sunday.
They gonna have to turn the beat down though. I'm pretty sure it's too loud.
Yeah. Turn the beat.
Yeah.
Shit
See?
out here.
I knew it. I knew it.
Money don't come on Sunday, yeah. Money come Sunday. Turn it.
So he turned the limiter off, okay. That was smart. That's one way to go about it. But you should do the clip gain but I'm pretty sure he don't know how to record in FL, so he don't know about the clip gain and he don't know how to put the beat on the track because we could clearly see the beat is not on the track. So you can assign it to insert one and you turn it down on a fader, or you could do the clip, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Money comes Sunday to Sunday. Try to rock and push out the runway. Yeah, like fathers love me.
All right, and for the people that say Max is not an engineer, what do we call Lil Baby's engineer that don't know FL? But again, you're not supposed to know FL as a industry engineer for the recording part, but that's just one thing. You know, I don't know. Let's keep it going.
Yeah, fathers love me. I ain't father shit weak.
Easy.
I ain't father shit weak.
Easy
I'm
fix.
father boy, that shit weak. I'm boy, you ain't weak.
W Mans.
Old school NT.
You know what I'm saying?
Turn it.
Turn the beat now.
Money comes Sunday to Sunday. Now you might gotta turn the mic down a little bit. Money comes Sunday to Sunday. Try to rock and push out the runway. I need party fast. Yeah. I need carny now. I need boys and shit.
Money gonna come a Sunday, any Tuesday or Monday. Bad little bit on runway.
Okay. That's not doing
I need fraud, I gave one rest. I done swallowed and seen them racks. They done rest. Try to run love, but you got too attached. I done fall, I can't go back. Trying to watch, but you can't go back. I don't even fall, you can't hold back. I run love, but you got too attached.
Alright, so I get it now. People, when I do this in videos, when I'm trying to plug in, trying to find the melody for the song, my channel is like, you should doing it. I get it. I get it now.
Let me see how I sound when I do my auto tune.
But one thing about it is like, look, baby usually don't like when he record. He really don't be having people hear what be going on. Like even if he got people in the room, they don't really be hearing what be going on. Cause like engineer had headphones, he had headphones, and then it's been instances where they'll make everyone leave the room. You know what I'm saying? So he really don't be recording like that. So yeah. So they checking for the tune right here, I'm pretty sure. But the tune not out of key. It's definitely not out of
key. Big trust spot dead in on them. Big trust spot dead in the one way. Big trust spot dead in the one way. Money come around next Sunday. Big trust spot dead in on the one way. Try to run the runway.
That's on key.
Try to run the Try to run the Gucci gunfight, yeah. They got better than the gunfight, yeah. They got a minute when the gunfight, yeah. They get out of better than the gunfight, yeah.
He can find it in the chat. He found his flow.
They get out of pocket.
I always find it weird that like the people like don't understand, like you gotta find the flow, kind of find the tone, the topic, what you want to talk about. Because I think the illusion of rappers just going in there and freestyling everything off the top of the head and to be perfect is like what's fucking everything up. Because it's like once you show the
look, bro, I go in the studio, freestyle this shit, and sometimes the shit be perfect. Not all the time. You ain't lying. Sometimes you do gotta find it. But if you gotta put that much effort into it, the beat ain't right. Or you just ain't got it. But Baby ain't like no spitter. I don't know why people putting pressure on Baby to be like that top nigga when he came in the game as a person that didn't know how to rap.
Of how artists make music, it kind of like fucks up the perception of what you thought your favorite artists do when they be like, I don't write. So once you hear them say I don't write, you think they go in there and just one take your favorite verse, your favorite song.
No, only Surfgod can do that.
Song, and it just don't work out like that. You know what I'm saying? They still have to piece it together. Like this is a form of writing because he's doing top line, he's doing scratch takes and stuff like that.
All right, enough of that. They stole you. These people right here, they stole your ass.
Never wanted you to know this. While most people live trapped in the third dimension, chasing money, status, and approval, as a small group has already learned to operate in a state where time and space are no longer barriers. You, without realizing it, already tap into this frequency from time to time, but you have been conditioned to ignore it. This knowledge has circulated in restricted circles for decades, used to accumulate power, shape events, and attract opportunities. Meanwhile, you have been trained to believe that everything depends on struggle, sacrifice, and waiting. Every day, trapped in that logic is another day, and your energy feeds systems that survive on your distraction. Now, there is a chance to break this pattern and access the real mechanism of reality creation, the one that turns intention into event and desire into fact. But this window will not remain open forever. Those who do not adjust their frequency now will remain stuck in the old machine. The decision is in front of you.
Hundreds in the 20s and the 50s gotta separate.
Most people live under the comfortable illusion that reality is stable, fixed, and obedient to immutable laws that conventional science describes. But this is only a partial narrative, carefully shaped to keep attention locked on what is visible and measurable. Behind the solid appearance of things, there is a dynamic vibrational field where
Drake entire cleanup EP.
All right, guys. So 20 days ago, Drake dropped a stream titled Iceman Episode 1, which is something that we did break down on the channel. Now,
what did I miss?
Assume that this would be a series of streams, and that turned out to be 100% correct because on July 24th at 9 p.m. Eastern, Drake dropped Episode 2. It's not easy to predict what he's doing with this rollout, like where this is going. So Drake is currently touring Europe right now, and when I looked at his schedule, I was really puzzled as to how he would even find a time to film the next Iceman episode. Everything that he's been doing takes an extreme amount of effort and time, and the fact that they're pulling things off like this on his day off between shows is really a testament to just how hard this team is working. it really seems like he's constantly working. Like, I don't even know when he sleeps. The first thing that we see is a black screen with nothing on it, and we hear the voice of an unknown man.
What's going on, man? It's been like 3 weeks since we found your truck. Shed is empty. No one can find you. You're not picking up. Everybody's looking for you, bro. This is going to be a problem.
I don't know who this man is, but it is a unique recording, as I can't find a single piece of media, a movie, or any audio that matches this quote. The man says that a truck was found 3 weeks ago, and this aligns great with the Iceman episode 1 drop, as we had Drake driving the delivery vehicle 19 days prior, which is pretty much 3 weeks. It's for that reason where I believe the voicemail from this man really acts as a narrative bridge to tie the 2 episodes together. So he ends off episode 1 in the truck. Now it's 3 weeks later. So Drake is really building on this character arc, and make no mistake, there is a story being told across these episodes. It's insanely cryptic.
I'm really trying to get it. Like, this nigga Drake is like mastermind some shit, and he's telling the story, but we really gotta dig deep to really get what he's talking about, or who he's talking about, or what he's talking about. But he's encrypting it because he can't just tell us. We know that, right? So we gotta pay close attention to what's going on.
My theory on the voicemail is I believe the man leaving the message and what he's saying could be tied to Drake turning his back on UMG. As you know, Drake is currently in a legal war with the label, and after Not Like Us dropped, it's highly likely that he completely
Lucien Grange
cut off communication with the label. Knowing who Drake is and what he meant to UMG, Drake going ghost probably made them pretty nervous. While all this is going on, Drake is quietly planning this lawsuit, and the label had no idea what was about to hit them. They probably tried to get in contact with Drake for a while, and he didn't respond. The man on the call sounds irritated and almost panicked. He's saying nobody can get a hold of you. This is going to be a problem, and you got to keep in mind, Drake acted as the label Superman for 15 years. A lot of the features and favors that he was doing were for artists under UMG. We're talking about a lot of money. Like, this is big business. Now, all of a sudden, artists like DJ Khaled, who is under UMG, isn't getting a feature from Drake anymore, and that was literally the entire rollout for his album. The man had to cancel it because of it.
This guy's got 2 Drake songs on it. Okay, 2.
I'm curious to know how many other artists from UMG that he's shutting the door on. Drake's first musical release after the beef was on June 4th.
What did I miss?
Wagwan Delilah, a complete spoof parody track. And at the time, most of us were wondering what the fuck Drake was doing, because this seemed to be the last type of track to drop directly after his beef with Kendrick. However, it's with this record where I believe he was simply trolling UMG.
Wagwan Delilah, double date me if you like me.
I think Wagwan Delilah was the first time they heard Drake's voice after the beef. Like, this is how they heard from him. Shortly after the beef, UMG dropped 2 pre-recorded Camila Cabello tracks with Drake that they already had in the stash. Drake then leaked a bunch of his own music on the Plot Twist Instagram, clearly without UMG's approval, since they flagged the post and rushed the songs to streaming. He followed that up with a full collab album with Party Next Door, who signed to OVO, not UMG. The project dropped under Santa Ana, which was Sony, limiting UMG's profits. From there, Drake did a Spanish feature with Chino Paquez, another artist signed by Drake for 1 album, and a new collab with Smiley, another one of his artists. Even when you look at the credits on the Party Next Door project, there isn't a single UMG artist. It has mostly independent Canadian producers, and there's no UMG in sight. And to me, this is what Iceman really means. It is all this. When Pusha T claimed that UMG stopped the Kendrick verse on the Clips album, I believe him, because I think they didn't want to piss Drake off even more. It's pretty obvious they had high hopes of patching things up with Drake, but I can almost guarantee that that's never going to happen. Just take a look at the artists that he took out at Wireless Festival. Lauryn Hill, look into her history on how she feels about record labels. She is someone that had deep, ongoing issues with Sony and Roughhouse. She hated it. She walked away, and there are a lot of theories for what exactly happened with her and the industry. Bryson Tiller, under
Yo, what's going on? What's going on?
Vanessa Carlton, this young girl was supposed to be a superstar, and it was with the exact same record that she played with Drake at Wireless, 1,000 Miles, that got her signed under UMG. Coming into her second album, she hated working with this label. She had zero creative control. They controlled her entire life. She absolutely hated it, and the industry chewed her up and spit her out, and she left in 2005.
My dream came true. I got this record deal. I thought it was gonna, it's gonna be this amazing situation. And at the end of the day,
Chat, what's going on?
In a really bad situation with the people that I was working with.
Make her boobs bigger, make her butt higher.
There's a lot of weirdness. There's a lot of possessiveness that was happening.
Jay Huss, independently signed. 21 Savage, Sony, Mario, another artist that was used and abused by the system who had such little creative freedom. He walked away from the label in 2015 and went independent.
Well, you said that you had to leave 600 songs behind.
Oh, yeah. I left. There's a lot of songs in there. I can't remember the exact number, but
okay.
Yeah.
A lot of songs.
Yeah.
Bobby Valentino, another artist who was under UMG that voiced his frustrations with album delays and less expected sales. He was dropped in 2008 and went independent.
Then you go get a label situation, and then here comes the label telling you what producers to work with, what your sound is. And then when it doesn't have success, you're going to drop me. It's like, oh, well, it didn't work. Peace.
Sexy Red, not with UMG. She's with Gamma, independent label. Burna Boy, Warner, Skepta, independent. Central C, Sony. Vibes Cartel, independent. Dave, independent. PopCam, Warner. Rema was signed to a label called Maven, and in 2024, that label was purchased by UMG. Just 2 months after UMG made the purchase, he went into a Twitter rant and said the following: "Shakes my head, the fuck is this? Labels, get creative. Stop trying to clone me. No new music. Sorry. I'm too big for fake PR. Bye." He completely removed the label information from his Instagram and all of his socials. Like, industry insiders are saying he left. It's not confirmed, but it's obvious he's not happy. Every single guest at Wireless has either absolutely zero ties to UMG whatsoever, or they worked for UMG in the past, got taken advantage of, had a terrible experience, causing them to leave, or they got dropped and discarded like they were nothing. Not only does it seem like Drake is not collaborating with anyone under UMG's umbrella musically, but when it comes to UMG pulling in profit from artist show money, he seems to be making a statement with this also. Yeah, sorry, my delivery days are done. I did it for 15 years. Here you go, take the keys. The truck's empty.
Middleman lined it, and I cut him out the deal. Turn cutthroat for real.
The sad truth is most artists who leave major label deals never regain their momentum. At Wireless, Drake had special guests with long-standing issues with record labels, and that wasn't random. This is a quiet and calculated move that mirrors the narrative within his lawsuit.
You Neo in the Matrix, these niggas just Nemo in the ocean.
Drake has been laying out all the clues, like the guy's going independent, 100%. In episode 1 of Iceman, Drake is working at the manufacturing plant. He's a cog in the machine, just another worker inside the system. We see flashes of a young, hungry Drake, just a naive kid chasing the dream, but that innocence fades fast. The scene shifts to something far darker as we see Drake surrounded by guns with 2 larger rifles aimed at one another. And from the beginning, I saw this as a metaphor for the war with the label system, specifically UMG. When Drake clocks out and slams that gate shut, it is symbolic. He's not just ending a shift, he's walking away from the machine and he's going to war against them. Some rumors say that Iceman is the final album that is owed to UMG under contract. And if this is true, then it all makes sense. This is it. Like, Iceman is his last work shift. He's done. So to me, it only makes sense that when he parks that truck and 3 weeks later, the man is saying they found it and it's empty, that's because Drake's days as UMG's delivery boy are over. And to me, this is a huge part of the premise behind Iceman and like what all this means. Anyways, the scene switches to a brick wall and you could see there's a door with a Pinocchio drawn onto it. Now, I actually tracked this exact location down, and as you could see here, the Pinocchio artwork isn't on the shot from Google Maps. So obviously Drake put that there for a reason. Filming it in Manchester makes sense because he had a show just the next night. Next, it switches to a scene where we see a pedestrian crosswalk sign, and I was able to find this location on the map as well. You can see that it's just up the street from the last scene. Something that you'll also notice here is that on the pedestrian sign itself is a hand-drawn sketch of what appears to be Spider-Man. And that's not even the first time that we saw this sketch. In episode 1, I remembered that when the scene showed the whiteboard with all the different types of ice on it, you could also see that same character again. At first, I really thought this was Spider-Man, but Certified Jarrett on Twitter claimed that this was the logo of Ben Dorado, who carried out a lot of design work for Party and Drake's album, and he also works closely with Drake's brand partner, Nocta. So I'm just not going to go down any Spider-Man rabbit holes yet. The scene then switches for the third time, and again, I traced it all on a map, so without a doubt, the last 3 shots were all filmed in the exact same area. As you could see here, this is the exact same location from Drake's stream. I saw people assume that this was like pre-recorded, but it's not. This is all live. Next, the scene switches to the inside of the building, and the business that Drake is at is called Sure Shot Brewing in Manchester. I even found a photo from this exact same scene with Drake on their website. They're a small independent company. Drake enters the scene still wearing the Iceman hoodie from the first episode, and you could see him looking at the red button on the left-hand side. Then he tinkers with the control panel in the front, which also has a red button, and the scene switches again, and he approaches another red button. You can't really see which buttons he's pressing. On Sure Shot's Instagram account, they shared some photos of Drake in their shop with the following caption: "Had a new brewer start last night. He turned on the chiller, prepped the lines, and locked up. Not sure he'll be back." So he's turning on the chiller, which kind of, is in line with the Iceman theme. So for anyone that doesn't believe that this was a live stream, the company clearly said that it all took place last night, and they even posted footage of the cameraman filming. This was definitely all in real time. Next, we switch to a scene with a man wearing a Pinocchio costume standing behind a tree with a red trailer behind him that reads "Deliveries up to 27 million, all in a day's work," with the word "work" blocked out. The scene that we're looking at in this case is exactly across the street from the building that Drake is inside. Pinocchio is stalking Drake. Like he's watching them. The red trailer and the words that you are seeing is from a Royal Mail delivery truck in the UK. They have always parked their trucks in this location. Now, the slogan on the truck itself is interesting because of the number 27 million. This is the exact number of views that Kendrick's Super Bowl performance had on YouTube in the first 24 hours. Given the fact that Pinocchio is paired with that number, I just don't think it's a coincidence. Drake has made plenty of
He's saying, nigga,
usage.
Man, Drake, I've already predicted it. Let's say this, y'all. Y'all can't hear what I'm listening to, but shout out to y'all. Shout out to everybody watching behind the scenes, but this is super dope. The label set him up, man. This was all pre-planned. The takedown of Drake. And he feel like y'all bought the whole scene. Yes, the song was huge. But yeah. Hey, chat. Comment so I know that microphone is working.
And literally stalking him in a Pinocchio costume. So there's no doubt in my mind that this character is meant to represent Kendrick. When we look at the character of Pinocchio, he is a wooden puppet fabricated by the man,
right,
and a fairy grants him the powers to be able to move around like a real person. From here, he desires nothing more than to be a real boy, and there is even a point in the 1940 Disney movie where Pinocchio is manipulated into performing at a puppet show by a fox named Honest John, as he ensures him that if he does this, it will make him a star.
Bright lights, music, applause.
Did y'all not hear me say, after Kendrick has been putting out music for the last 10, 15 years, this is his big moment? Who promised him that? Who is he working for? Because I know when he got that Grammy, Dr. Dre and Lucian Gringe was right in the front row.
Applause, fame, straight to the top. Why, I can see your name in lights, lights 6 feet high.
Pinocchio listens to Honest John. He does the show, and at first, it all seems to be 100% worth it. However, he's ultimately trapped in a cage and is destined to be owned by the show owner for life.
To me, you are belonging. We will tour the world, Paris, London.
Now you see, yeah, nonstop touring. Even Lil Wayne, UMG, man, they make stars, but they work your ass like a fucking slave for sure.
Make lots of money.
The role of Honest John in the Disney movie is an interesting parallel when we consider that John Janik, the CEO of Interscope Records, was so heavily involved in Kendrick's career. It's even more interesting when we see that John Janik has been named in the UMG lawsuit, where Drake's legal team have made demands to see compensation, incentives, salaries, and bonuses from John Janik specifically. In fact, it was just February of 2024, several months before the beef started, where it was announced that John will be shifted into a role where he assumed a greater responsibility over U.S. label operations for UMG. So I feel like this is like a bigger connection when it comes to Pinocchio and why this is Kendrick, because it all ties back to John Janik. Pinocchio was manipulated to perform in front of a packed house where he is lying to the audience to become a star. The two stories have remarkable parallels because Drake is implying that Kendrick is a label pawn in UMG's game. Drake has accused Kendrick of being a grifter and inauthentic. He's made claims of Kendrick's jealousy towards him and his long-standing desire to be in Drake's place. Like Pinocchio, Kendrick wants to be Drake, who is also known as the Boy, and with the assistance of the labels, he's given the biggest stage of his career. However, just like the 1940 movie, Drake is insinuating that all this will be short-lived because the facade cannot be maintained when it's built on a mountain of lies. This is not even the first time that he called him a puppet. He said it on Taylor Made.
Hate all you corporate industry puppets, I'm not in the mood.
While we're still on the topic of Pinocchio, remember we saw that Drake drew the character on the door next to that brick wall. Doors turn out to be an important theme in the Pinocchio movie because many of the doors that he goes through are metaphorical traps. They look inviting but lead to danger. It's with this symbol on the door where Drake seems to be saying that when it's opened up, Kendrick's lies will be devastatingly exposed. And yes, I did watch Pinocchio for this video. When it comes to the phrase on the truck, if you look closely, the word work is partially covered, leaving just the letter K and a period, which stands for KDOT. Now, to me, this part is probably just a coincidence because the sign that is blocking the word has been in that location for a very long time, even in older photos. I do think it's a coincidence because that sign, it looks like it hasn't moved in years. Drake closes the gate behind him and steps outside, glancing around like he's checking to see if someone's trailing him. Then we cut to another shot of Pinocchio, only now he's moved. He's no longer by the tree as he's crept closer to the building, hiding awkwardly in the bushes. With that said, he's doing a terrible job of blending in. His bright red costume clashes hard against the green backdrop. He sticks out like a sore thumb, just watching as Drake walks right past him. You'll notice that Drake looks back in his exact direction multiple times. It's possible that Drake knows what he's doing, but he doesn't seem all that bothered by it. The scene then switches to a close-up of door number 1, where the camera focuses on security tracking labels. This is a sure sign that the area is being monitored, which might not be the best news for Pinocchio, especially considering what unfolds later in the stream. The scene then switches to a departure board for a train headed to York from the Manchester Piccadilly station. This train is set to depart at 2:44 a.m., and I confirm that this is indeed a regular scheduled route. So it's not like Drake put the words there, this is an actual scheduled route at that station. And really, this is another strong indication that everything we are seeing is being filmed in real time. 2:44 a.m. is 9:44 Eastern. The stream was scheduled for 9 o'clock. It had a 10-15 minute delay. And as you could see, the clock that's rolling shows a time of 9:21 p.m. So again, for the people who think this is all pre-film, like it's not. It's all live. What we see next is the Manchester Victoria Bats building. This is an old building that was built in 1906 as a place where people could bathe and shower. Next, we switch to various scenes within the building itself, and the common theme for most of the visuals is clearly doors. Unlike the closed door shown with the Pinocchio on it, these doors are all open. This likely symbolizes what we discussed earlier. An open door symbolizes that secrets are no longer hidden. Something that was once private is now exposed or accessible. Multiple open doors also symbolize multiple secrets. While Drake was in the brewery, we saw multiple red buttons, and you'll soon see the name of the upcoming song that he previews is called Which One? Which one? Like, which button should I press first? Like, which door should I open? The scene cuts to Central C, dressed like a British mobster, clearly channeling Tommy from Peaky Blinders, who also filmed at Victoria Bats in Season 2, Episode 6. In that episode, Tommy holds dangerous secrets about government deals and intelligence operations. He really knows too much, and he fears that powerful people around him might have him killed, so he begins writing a letter that exposes everything, just in case he's found dead.
After I've served my purpose, I believe they intend to kill me. I therefore... No particular individual in this letter. The agent who was initiated and orchestrated this crime is Major Chester Campbell for the British Secret Intelligence Service. In the event of my death, it was imperative he brought to justice.
Eventually, Central C, who again seems to be channeling Tommy's character, meets Drake at the top level of the pool and hands him a bag. Now, in my opinion, the bag likely represents one of two things. One, incriminating evidence that someone gave Drake, meaning he's in possession of something they never thought would surface, information that certain people are desperate to be buried. Or two, the bag acts as a metaphor for the knowledge that Drake already had. Central C's character really could just be a symbol or a vessel. Whether it's contracts, manipulation, streaming games, dirt on Kendrick, or industry puppeteering, the bag represents all that. In theory, it holds everything that Tommy's letter contained at the beginning of that episode. The bag is most definitely the bomb. For Pinocchio, I was able to watch the movie, because it's just one movie. Like Peaky Blinders, fucking series, I would have to watch. I would never get the video done, but I did watch that episode. This is what I came up with. The scene then cuts to a woman dancing in an empty pool. Drake and Central C track Which One? I'm at the couch as a London birds. Keep in mind, this stream pretty much acts as the music video for this song. And when you think of a pool, it's typically a fun place that's full of life and energy. And one can imagine that a typical music industry video for a song like this one would fall into a much happier scene. However, Drake is threatening to show the other side of it by draining the pool. When that happens, the scene becomes eerie, and the fun facade behind many of our favorite dance records have a far darker backstory. The woman is wearing all black, and the scene doesn't scream party, but I'm trapped. In many ways, like an empty pool, the artist becomes a shell of one's former self. Again, that's just my perspective, my take. The song could also have some sort of dark intertwined in it that's not visible to the general public.
Congratulations, well done.
Layer subliminal towards people where only they know what he's talking about. When it comes to Drake, that's why you can't only focus on his rapping records, right? Because he layers different messages in like R&B records, or like it could be some happy singing song that might have something darker tied to it. 81, bring the crashes to the party. Central C and Drake then dap off, and he leaves with the bag, and the next scene focuses on the plunge bat in the building. These bats were typically really cold, so this could be another tie-in to the Iceman theme. Next, we get Central C sitting down, and he previews a new record.
Man, I'm calling my phone about beefing my feet in the sun as a juxtaposition.
I fuck with the record, actually, but I just don't, I'm not going to break it down now. Again, it's with this Central C track where Drake is just buying time so that he can get in position for the next scene. That's why we start seeing flash where Drake needs to be, catch that train to York. The scene switches where we see Pinocchio, aka Kendrick, running after Drake. This is meant to symbolize that the evidence that Drake has in the bag puts him miles ahead of the puppet that is chasing him. It's really symbolic in the sense that Drake is saying, after everything you just did, you still aren't ahead of me, and you never will be. Lies can never outrun the truth. Your story is not sustainable, and what's in this bag is going to make sure of it. Drake is on this crazy next level shit, and if I'm Kendrick, like he's probably tossing and turning right now. Kendrick's probably having trouble sleeping.
Pinocchio, they can't see. My nose don't go though.
We then see Drake walking through Piccadilly Station, miles ahead of the puppet. He gets into an elevator, and an instrumental starts where you already know what time it is. We all know what Drake is about to do with the beat. I believe it's on this track, this exact track, where he's going to expose some of the information that's contained in the metaphorical bag. When Drake catches the elevator with this playing in the background, it only.
Y'all think this got anything to do with Draco? Eeriest thing ever. Draco went live. He said it's gonna be this mysterious album that's gonna come out. It must have been be the and he just like it all was tied together, and I'm just like, what? And these were labels. And so I just want to see how this is gonna unfold. Type in the comments, man. Let me see if the comments is working because I don't see any comments. This is getting good, y'all. That's crazy.
Only spells out one thing. I'm on a whole other level than the guy that's still outside the building.
Did the labels want to get rid of Draco? For all this even to work?
Only spells out one thing. I'm on a whole other level than the guy that's still outside the building. Lastly, we see the words coming soon with the Pinocchio silhouette in the middle, which means Drake is going to be exposing a lot of these lies in the very near future. It might have caught this off guard last time, but like you realize they're fucked now, right? They're fucked. I'll call it right now. Like we'll see if I'm wrong. I don't think I will be. Like those guys are fucked.
No, but YG is not even on Kendrick.
Hey, real quick, man, we with the hottest in the game right now, the baby. We got one quick question for you, man. All the ladies want to know, what city would you say has the best women? Atlanta. You heard it here first.
Illegible that you know what it is, bro. Let's talk about it. Now it's being reported that YG has come out with this Drake for name dropping him on the song Family Matters, using his name to diss Kendrick Lamar, to discredit Kendrick Lamar. So YG seemingly came out, you know, and this Drake for
I think I be on to something.
Says, YG seemingly responds to Drake's Family Matters on this scene. YG has thoughts on being name dropped. Now I'm gonna show you guys
What's going on, chat?
that Drake said.
Tap in chat for a shout out, man. If you're watching right now, God bless you. I pray you had a blessed day.
You know who really made this set? My nigga YG. He was that he lumped him in with a bunch of different other artists to say that Kendrick Lamar is not really from where, you know, he's actually from. To be honest with you guys, like Kendrick Lamar is from that neighborhood
he was trying to say, YG is really about it, not Drake was trying to say that. And YG,
or maybe he wasn't.
the report says YG was not involved in Drake versus
Maybe he's letting the world see that you're being controlled and you couldn't be the artist you wanted to be. Who knows?
Drake versus Kendrick Lamar battle. He was actually one of the West Coast artists who didn't step in with an opinion. The problem, he was directly referenced by name on the Drake diss Family Matters. Drake, the Compton rapper, discredited Kendrick Lamar by claiming YG came to set, but Kendrick Lamar didn't. It was a relatively unimportant line, and one that saw YG lumped in with other artists. No big deal, right? Well, it seems like the Compton rapper felt the way about it. Now, YG posted this song on his Twitter, a snippet of it before the song actually came out, and he said, "For the suckers who know they ops, but keep my name in their mouth like we fool. You don't know what fool, that's how blood said cool. He said, F out of here, SS Block." I can't say it on.
So YG had a problem with Drake because Drake did the song with Draco. Kendrick used Draco's style to come on. All right, let's keep digging.
Anyway, the YG line said this right here. YG said, "Ha ha ha, you bum. Weird ass nigga, you're feeling about me. Weird ass nigga off that perk trip, and I'm gonna tell you about yourself and your weird ass don't listen. You be on that bullshit, Scotty Pippen, you a weirdo. Effing on weird hoes, nigga, you weirdo. Weirdo is one of the things in California. You call somebody a weirdo, bro. That's like the worst, most disrespectful thing you call somebody. Like where we come from, people really shoot us stuff. You know what I mean? Calling somebody a weirdo. So when YG is saying weirdo, it's not like
Yo, what's going on, chat?
in California, where we come from, that's the most disrespectful thing you can say. So when he keeps saying weirdo, he's making a point by saying, he said your whole life in limbo. You bitter ass niggas, you sleep like Cheerios. Weird ass niggas, you niggas lame. When it's smoke, don't ever mention my name. You gonna have me jeopardizing my fame, jeopardizing the game, jeopardizing where you came. So people are saying that those lines right there are about Drake saying, when it's smoke, don't ever mention my name. Drake said, you don't really think you said my name why. And obviously, YG from Compton, Kendrick Lamar from the same area. I don't know them to be friends, but I don't know them to not be friends. We've seen that Mustard hanging really close to YG all throughout his career. They actually just got back real tight the past couple of years. And, Mustard is very heavily involved on the Kendrick Lamar side of things. Obviously, he came out and said, I'll never go against my city. Anybody that's not from here. So Mustard and YG are close. I'm sure they're having conversations about the Kendrick Drake thing. And we know, I don't know if Kendrick and YG are direct friends, but obviously they have friends. Between mutual friends.
Mm-hmm.
And they probably have family members and homeboys from the same hood. YG is not from the same hood as Kendrick Lamar, but it's all the same, rag. It's all the same. They all up under that power bar. So, I think that, YG probably just didn't like, bro, I was trying to stay silent out of respect for the business relationship that we had, between Drake and YG. But why would you say my name like that? And I think Drake used that as a tactic because he's seen it work with Big Mill situation. He saw when he called out AR-Ab's name back then, that AR-Ab kind of flipped on me. And he probably thought that, all these dudes probably just the same. He don't really know the hood culture in California like that. So he probably thought, like, everybody from the
He didn't think, he just wanted to see. Choose a side, nigga. What side do you stand on? Are you bitter for me doing this song with Drake, with Draco when y'all beefing? Is is that why you're not cool with me? Because if you think about it, Drake helped this nigga career, but those were UMG moves. Now let's see. Let's see who everybody signed to. Yep, big hit, YG, UMG. Yeah, UMG. Universal Music. YG interested in licensing music of YG. Okay, yeah, YG is signing Universal. CTE World, Def Jam, Interscope, Epic, Pushes Inc., BMG Rights Management. He signed a record deal contract with Def Jam in 2009. What about in 2025? Who's distributing? YG 400 label is operating under a multi partnership with BMG, while previously deals with Def Jam, Epic Records, Show, BMG, Chapter. Okay, who owns them labels? Who owns Def? Universal Music Group. That's all I want to know. Okay, who is DJ Mustard? And did Universal try to sign Drake? Rock Nation, Interscope, Republic, Pushes Inc., BMG, same shit. Dump Records. Mustard signed Republic Records and Rock Nation to release his debut studio album 10 Summers 2015. We know that. All these labels are under the same label. Rock Nation, Rock Nation, founded Jay-Z partnership with Universal Music Group. Alright. Uh-huh. And we know Kendrick is tied to Universal too, through Interscope. Yeah, Universal owns everybody. Okay.
From the hood thing. I'll shout out, to the homies out. Go ahead.
Let's see what pops up about Universal. How to use black music to get rich.
At which point you offered me a job running MCA. Now, MCA, as a music company, was known in the industry at that time as the Music Cemetery of America. Sincerely, everyone they had very few artists. They had a very good country division, actually. They had Mary J. Blige and a group called Rush. But that was it. They had about an 8% market share. And Interscope and then Universal? Well, what happened was Jimmy was getting bombed from Washington because he was still putting out these vulgar, misogynistic records. And it was very easy for him to free himself then from the Warner Group. And I was very eager to get him to Universal, with the MCA, which I changed the name to Universal. So there they came. Jimmy ran the West Coast, and I ran the East Coast, called it Universal. And that was the key moment for that Universal. It was a small company before that. Jimmy came over, and within the first year and a half, he had the number 1, 2, 3, 4 albums in the country. And we ran right up to like over 20% market share. It was an amazing, really fun. So what was your strategy at Universal? Well, the strategy was to fill it with urban music. I don't We acquired Cash Money, and just with those three companies, we probably had 45% of all the other music in America. And then all the cool kids wanted to come with us. So it's really fun.
I'm not slow, am I? Yeah, I think I be knowing a little something.
Thought about a particular culture, about generating a particular culture at an organization like Universal. Can you talk us through what culture you tried to bring in?
Well, by culture, for me, getting that music was cultural. But I had my own culture about how I ran these companies and continued to do this through my whole career.
That's why a lot of I see why a lot of that this part. Guess what? Y'all do know my ducks, my swan, welcome to the pond. My name is Dorian from BlueBay.com, and right here we got Doug Morris, former CEO of Universal Records, talking about the formation of Universal Records and how they black get rich. Now, Jimmy had a story that he saw that Jimmy Ivy found a Interscope, did a lot of stuff with Nine Inch Nails, stuff with Springsteen, but his claim to fame was Suge Knight, Death Row, Dr. Dre. Jimmy Ivy is the one that put it in front of white people, a lot of white people that made it pop what gangster rap. Doug Morris and Jimmy. And he got off on the job and the record. Jimmy was at Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers was killed by the media for putting out See the Lord Short, Tipper Gore, all these people in the early 90s going on these campaigns talking about this fucking pornographic filth bullshit. So Warner was like, yo, we gotta separate ourselves. Can't have it. We gotta go. Can't do it. So Jimmy was a free agent. That was and so Doug Morris like, come over here. Come over to Universal. We have 8% market share. We got Mary J. Blige. We wrote up everything. We have nothing. We have absolutely. So how are we gonna
Mary J. Blige, huh? Was already signed to Universal. Okay. Buffy. All these people know each other, bro. They all was under the same umbrella. A lot of these are plays. You don't think they like Tupac? Have you ever seen a picture of Jimmy Iovine and Tupac together? Or any label?
how are we gonna turn this around? Every single record company has been built on the backs of black people. So uniformly, we're gonna have Jeff Rowe, we're gonna let them do whatever the hell they want to give Suge Knight as much money. And what he said, they went from 8% market share to what 60 to 70% of all urban. The cool kids want to be with us. Right. They just want to sign Universal. Because they Universal on the package. And we knew that Universal was putting the money behind these artists. And that's how everybody got rich. That's how Jim Ivy was able to do all the stuff he did. Thankfully, he took Dre with him. That's how he's damn near a billionaire today. They've been using black music since the beginning. I got a video on Instagram about Russ. Where he's talking about how white kids paid 13-year-old white kids how to control the industry. The exact same thing. Black music controls all of it. Black music, but gets people rich. Their great grandkids are going to be rich off of that. While you still doing performing songs when you're 60, 70 years old, only you get $10,000 from fan use homecoming. We don't deserve it. We don't deserve it. We're in control. Being an independent artist like you're pursuing a woman, early on, she's in control. She's in control when y'all control of all. When does that transfer of control happen? Y'all have that. Her opinion still matters, but now she's opened up. She has allowed you to be part of her. And a lot of niggas don't know what to do with that, and they run their the exact same thing with records. My masters are versions, and they're going to stay fucking. And if anybody is going to fuck my masters, it's going to be me. Not your ass. Fuck off. You want to build your independent music empire? You want to keep your masters a virgin? You don't want them to be the whore that the entire village is fucking? Put the link in the bio. First of all, packages and all. Like,
That's facts.
Or these platforms. No, This is not an exaggeration, okay? They've been doing this, and now this idea of Universal becoming a monopoly is real. Right now, their market presence is for the U.S. about 42% as far as the music catalog that they own, the revenue streams that they're taking up, and the fact that they're now starting to impose on independent artist platforms and spaces. I'm really nervous. They're doing things like suing other competitors in the music business, and they're developing competing AI. And now what we're finding out is that 4 months ago, we had heard the news that Universal was in the process of acquiring Downtown. If you guys remember, Downtown Music Holdings is a company that is the parent to CD Baby, right? Music distributor, Song Trust, right? Companies that service independent artists and are basically controlling your royalty cycle. That means a major record label is now in charge of the collection and payment of your royalties. So about 4 months ago when we covered this, it was $775 million acquisition. And the thing that I said that time as I go is, why is no one calling this out as Universal is becoming a monopoly? When we say there is a monopoly, it is a company that is now dominating a particular marketplace. And this brings up red flags because we go, well, monopolies are a really bad thing. And typically the government will kick back and say, for example, this happened with Meta. You guys remember this? Meta owns Facebook. Meta purchased Instagram. Meta purchased WhatsApp. And so as Meta continues to try to acquire more and more social media platforms, eventually the Federal Trade Commission, right, so the government stepped in and said, we're not going to do this anymore. And it's because when a company becomes such a giant, it becomes impossible to compete with that company anymore. This was obviously at the end of last year. And I go, why is no one calling out Universal for what it is doing? Because it is not only truly becoming a monopoly in the music market, but once it controls the music business in that it owns the music catalog, but eventually, and that's what's happening right now, eventually it is going to acquire the infrastructure that we all rely on as independent artists. So now we are at the mercy of a corporation in order to even distribute our music. So why does this matter? Okay, so going back to the Downtown deal, this still hasn't gone through, and it's because it's been scrutinized. Now, here's the new thing that's happened. So in the European Union, we have finally someone looking at this. It's not the U.S. just yet, but nonetheless, we have someone in your market being like, you know what, this is concerning. Now, it's not a problem yet, because I guess there's pressure, right? So for the U.S. Federal Trade Commission to consider a company to be a
And this was 3 months ago, people.
threshold. And then it becomes a red flag, and now the Federal Trade Commission will step in and try to stop a company from continuing to acquire all of its.
Ladies and gentlemen, that title, believe it or not, is 100% now. Law 3 grams, champagne cop, snitch, 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 snitch.
Well, we talked about Jim Jones. He did an interview, and they talked about Drake suing Universal. And he actually thinks it's a good thing. Because he's like, look, Drake isn't suing Kendrick, he's suing the big company. Everyone was happy when Tracy Morgan sued Walmart, got a big bag. Why won't we be happy for Drake?
I didn't actually see that interview.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Right. So what's the question?
Well, what do you think? Are you happy that Drake is suing Universal? Or do you feel like...
Am I happy? I'm not happy either way about that. They ain't got nothing to do with me. But for the sake of the battle, I just think it
feels funny because it's like, damn, homie, you lost the battle, now you want to sue? But I understand why. The reason why he's suing, I believe, is because it's the narrative of him being a pedophile. It's like, come on, my nigga, y'all gonna let this dude call me a pedophile? I've never been accused, arrested, tried, or convicted of being a pedophile, but yet y'all allowed this to be on major platforms. Y'all allowed this. You understand? So I kind of understand where he's going with it when it comes to that, because the suit is about, I guess, from his eyes or his point of view, it's about that narrative being able to live and be pushed. I don't think I would have done it. Yeah, but it's not like he told the truth about Kendrick in all the response songs either. Right. He said that one of Kendrick's kids isn't actually his. Right. Which I'm not saying it's exactly as bad as being called a pedophile, but it's pretty bad. Right. But I think in his mind, I think his point of view is, and I'm guessing, I don't know, I ain't got a dog in the fight, but I'm guessing that he's saying, y'all use resources to push this. It's a difference when you just throw out a record, and there's a difference when the record is prioritized and it's pushed. We know that. But using resources to actually propel the record to a place that it can't ever come down. Well, which is done with every record they believe in Universal, including his own records. 1,000%. But that record is exactly what he's saying. So it's like you could be two things can be true at the same time, right? So it's like it's a hit record, but at the same time he said, "Calling you a pedophile." And UMG got behind the record and used resources and prioritized the record and pushed it to a place that it is, one of the greatest songs to come out in the last couple years.
You can have a great song, you can have a hit record, but it's not really a hit record until the label get behind it and make it a hit record. And that's what he's saying. Y'all made this a priority to take me down. Y'all did this maliciously. There's no love, no loyalty. Y'all sold me all these dreams and told me that, yeah, we family, we this, we that. But then at the end of the day,
Rap war between Drake and Universal Music Group is escalating tonight in a new amended legal complaint. Drake says the record label waged an unrelenting campaign to amplify Kendrick Lamar's diss track. Filing says UMG made significant financial investments and leveraged its professional connections for, quote, massive amplification of defamatory claims by Kendrick Lamar. Lamar performed his diss track, Not Like Us, to more than 133 million viewers at the Super Bowl. Drake claims the lyrics falsely paint him as a pedophile, and the record label knew Lamar's lyrics and images in the song's music video were false and dangerous. Universal Music Group has previously sought to dismiss Drake's lawsuit and responded to this particular amended complaint, saying, "It is shameful that these foolish and frivolous legal theatrics continue. They are reputationally and financially costly to Drake and have no chance of success." To discuss, ABC News legal contributor and trial attorney Brian Buckmeyer joins me now. Brian, what do you make of this new claim by Drake and his attorneys? And does Drake have a case?
Well, it's an interesting argument. I'll kind of answer that backwards. Yes, do I think Drake has a case? I believe so to some degree.
he has to fight back. Next, they'll be painting a picture that he really did do some of that shit. That's the next move. Get somebody to come out and say, "Oh yeah."
Take the 808 out and then leave the kids.
I'll send it on the mix. I'll just exactly how you want. I'm gonna send it to him exactly how you want to put it in that.
Boy, YFN Lucci, man. Shout out Lucci, man. Birdman. Birdman. Shout out to Jacqueezy. That sound, though. We've been live for a minute.
You do this. Like, people looking for. On the surface, T-Pain and Drake never really seem to have any sort of beef or any reason not to like each other. But what if I told you there's been tension bubbling for over a decade, and Drake just exposed it? T-Pain recently threw some shade in Drake's direction by more or less saying that Drake should consider retirement, and to this Drake fired back, claiming that T-Pain had secretly resented him for years.
Drake is like, no, listen, okay, I got another one. Oh, check this out. Check this out. Y'all didn't like that one? Okay, real quick. Just one more.
And after digging into this, Drake was actually right.
He's been around for 7 minutes.
Absolutely. How soft his voice is.
Keep going.
His arms, his bad little.
Give me a word to describe him. Kanye West.
Awesome.
Drake.
Singing. But I don't think it's cool when it's like T-Pain shouldn't be rapping and singing, and then it's cool for Drake to do it.
And honestly, just based off my own judgment of character, T-Pain has always seemed like a genuinely.
Who was T-Pain signed to? Was it UMG? The UMG? Y'all gotta think T-Pain was the GOAT. The GOAT. Like, he was promised. I'm sure they told him everything. Yeah, you're gonna be the biggest in the game forever. The top guy. Like, he had that. The push was behind T-Pain. The money was behind T-Pain for sure. The music was okay. It was great. I'm in love with a stripper. Blah, 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 blah. Same kind of records Drake came with. It feels like he got his spot taken.
Genuinely good dude. He doesn't give off Snake vibes at all. He's got a contagious personality. Super likable.
I'm keeping it 100. And did they predict the records that T-Pain made? You got to think his biggest record was with Lil Wayne, right? One of the biggest records.
Genuinely good dude.
Congratulations, well done.
He's got a contagious personality, super likable, and he usually comes off as someone who's pretty positive. But make no mistake about it, he's got some internal issues with respect to Drake. So there's no doubt that he's a Drake hater, but the question really is why. First off, I've been seeing a lot of T-Pain slander on the timeline, which is pretty wild considering that he did crawl so that Drake could run. If you're a fan of Wayne, Thug, Future, Drake, Travis Scott, Kanye, G.
Then you're a fan of T-Pain, and he's like, these are all my children. I'm supposed to be the biggest. The labels told me I would be the biggest. They promised me this spot. And then, looks what happened.
GP, Lil Baby, Gunna, Playboy Cardi. We can line them all up, along with the majority of artists over the past few eras. They were all influenced by T-Pain through a sound that he helped pioneer. When you look at the era that T-Pain stepped into, it's not hard to understand why he caught so much hate early on. This was the mid-2000s, and hip-hop was still...
Jay-Z put out a song called The Death for Auto-Tunes and kind of killed this man's career. Like, advocated that that's not it. And everybody, they sign artists after. Jay-Z signed artists after that uses auto-tune. So it was crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Very gritty. You had guys like 50, Jeezy, Wayne, Dipset, T.I., The Game. So when T-Pain popped up out of nowhere, singing and rapping with this weird robotic-sounding voice, a lot of people didn't know what to make of it. Many looked at auto-tune as a gimmick, and they saw it as a cheat code for people who couldn't
Now I got auto-tune in my mixer. It comes automatically.
actually sing. And
Will we have auto-tune in a mixer if it wasn't for T-Pain?
couldn't actually sing. And because T-Pain was doing both, he was pretty much getting triple the hate as he got backlash from rap, R&B, and even pop. A lot of you will probably remember that there was a narrative going around that T-Pain couldn't even sing, like he had no talent. I even found some old comments from during that era that echoed the exact same sentiment. Check out anything by T-Pain, it's nothing but uncreative noise. T-Pain has been open up to the complete accurate accusation that he can't actually.
So we should say the same thing about Young Thug. We should say the same thing about Dirk. We should say the same thing about any of you niggas who put auto tunes on and mumble rap. I just watched Little Baby do some real whack ass shit and has a whole fan base. None of them niggas got talent, if that's the case.
Actually sing.
Allegedly.
Actually sing. Auto-tune found its poster child with T-Pain, but here's the thing. T-Pain can't sing. People like T-Pain who can't sing at all are starting to deface the
So y'all telling me that Dirk and all them niggas can sing and Little Baby can sing?
value of good
Drake can sing?
the value of good harmony, which turned out to be all bullshit because T-Pain actually could sing. And the hole. Even on his debut album, T-Pain was already showcasing really early on that he could actually sing without auto-tune, but the masses didn't get the message. It was hold me down when things got poppin'. He just wasn't really an album.
They couldn't even tell the difference between when he used auto tune or not.
Really an album artist. Like he wasn't known for cuts. People bought his CDs for records like these. And with records like that, one hit turned into two turned into a streak, and before you knew it, he was the go-to guy for hooks. If you wanted a hit in 2006, pretty much up to 2009, T-Pain was definitely the man to call. He dominated radio. He was on damn near
That was the label getting him to do all these favors.
every remix.
Just like they did with Drake.
Every remix. And he basically became the sound of that era.
Everybody talking to me as soon as I stepped in the spot. They can buy you a drink somewhere in Wisconsin. I'ma take a shot of the new hole.
All the up and coming artists that they needed to push, including Drake.
The craziest part about the
Ace Hood, DJ Khaled, everybody. They all was universal.
The craziest part about the whole thing is that the very tool that T-Pain got roasted for, auto-tune, ended up becoming the sound of the industry. Artists like Wayne and Kanye were some of the first major names to fully embrace it. In fact, T-Pain literally sat down with Kanye and even taught him how to use it. And even when Kanye and Wayne first started using auto-tune, like they got a bunch of hate too. I heard the single for Heartless. He's not going to drop a whole album with this already overused auto-tune bullshit, is he? The answer is yes. That's exactly. All of a sudden, the gimmick that T-Pain was so heavily clowned for was literally everywhere. I don't know the names of the songs, but when you turn on Top 40 radio, you will hear it used very, very badly on Donnie.
Yes. The auto-tune era was like, oh my God, bro. Now it's still heavily used. A lot of non-talented artists are using auto-tune 95% of the time.
You won't have to wait long to find a pop or R&B singer that is auto-tuned to the point of not sounding human. And it's unfortunate because even though everyone was using it, T-Pain got all the hate. The name T-Pain was synonymous with auto-tune. He was the face of it, and he didn't do himself any favors as he completely leaned into it. At one point, he even created an auto-tune app for the iPhone, and eventually the vocal tool itself got completely exploited online, where people were using it to crack jokes all over the internet. I'm never going to live it up that I didn't start a YouTube channel back then. Shit was so fun.
Man, Man, YouTube was the shit back in the day.
By
I
this
should have
point,
been.
music
I should
listeners
have
were
been
growing
started.
tired. Complaints were being made that every song sounded the same, and even T-Pain tried to get in front of it as he wrote an entire diss record to all the people who were biting his sound. So he's even saying here, right? Like, why are these guys able to do it, but I keep getting hate for the same thing? However, an artist with a song that didn't go unnoticed was none other than Jay-Z, as he dropped an entire record where he calls it all out, the death of autotune. This is anti-auto-tune, death for the ringtone. On the track, Hope plays it really smart because he's echoing what music fans were already saying. He's literally calling for the end of autotune, and this track kicked the criticism for both the Tool and T-Pain into high gear. Autotune was cool for the first 10 songs, but seriously, T-Pain and imitators, enough is enough. I'm with Jay-Z on this one. Soon enough, we started seeing articles and blog posts where autotune was listed as a music industry trick that needed to die. Even big stars like Christina Aguilera were seen wearing t-shirts that said autotune was for pussies. Bands like Death Cab for Cutie went as far to organize full-on hate campaigns against it, and even artists like John Mayer were clowning it. T-Pain was sadly the main target and focus of all the hate, and this type of backlash was pretty confusing for him. I don't understand why the most hated artist is being the most copied artist. Why can't they just own up to what I've done for them and this industry? So at this point, T-Pain is really starting to grow a hatred for the industry, and it's around this time where Drake also pops off. Much like T-Pain with autotune, Drake changed the game when he dropped So Far Gone, and while he did get a lot of hate for being soft and emotional, T-Pain already helped break the barrier that softened the blow for Drake, because since 2005, he had massive hits where he was saying things like this. Got love on my homies. She ain't even my main lady. All she wanna do is hurt me. T-Pain took a look at where the game was headed. Everyone was trying to be hard, aggressive, and street. So he flipped the script, and his cheat code was doing the exact opposite by being vulnerable, melodic, and singing his raps, which, set the stage for Kanye to do this. My face turned to stone.
I heard the news. Oh my God. And these are some of my favorite songs, bro. Like all that trying to be tough, hard ass music all the time, bro. Everybody is not tough and hard all the fucking time. Niggas is not walking around with that Glock Dookie on them all the time.
Also a rapper that sang, but he was widely praised for being talented at both, while T-Pain never got that same respect as a rapper because he was boxed in as just the auto-tune guy.
See, I really sing. See, I'm a rapper. Really? Yeah. See, that's why I'm not a Chris Brown or R. Kelly. I'm a rapper. This is what I represent. Take your pen over and down. Hustle look like Larry Flint.
So he can actually rap, right? But we didn't get to hear it because rapping didn't pay his bills. It was the auto-tune joints that got him paid. So there's no denying that Drake took influence from Kanye's 808s, which took influence from T-Pain, but in many ways he did it better because he wasn't overly heavy on auto-tune and he was actually rapping.
Spending nights in the studio trying to be over, being a throne instead of being your own. But look,
soon enough, people like Jay-Z, who really delivered a blow to T-Pain's career, started to co-sign Drake. Huge artists that T-Pain really helped, like Kanye and Wayne, were the first to jump on the Drake train, with Wayne even signing him.
I can honestly say that I'm surrounded by some of the greatest people that have been preserving hip hop.
And they like, what? He's like, wait. But see, that's how the game is. Drake is getting that same energy right now. And he feels the same way as you.
Like Kanye, like Wayne, like Jay.
After So Far Gone, Drake was looked at as a revolutionary artist, and T-Pain didn't get the credit for laying the groundwork. In fact, I can't find a single interview where Drake truly credits T-Pain's influence, and what's even worse, nobody seems to ever bring T-Pain up. In these interviews, T-Pain is not being brought up. Kanye is,
aside from this one reference on his song Fear from So Far Gone, I can't even find a single example where Drake claimed that he was even a fan of T-Pain's music. The one and only time where I could find that Drake ever mentioned T-Pain was after a New York Times article came out titled Rappers Are Singers Now, Thank Drake, and people on Twitter were absolutely outraged because they felt people like T-Pain deserved those flowers. So when Elliot Wilson brought the article up, Drake finally mentioned it.
Don Monica wrote an article about you set a blueprint for the new generation to come. And everybody on Twitter went crazy, but it wasn't saying that rappers hadn't sang before you, but there's a lot of people who contributed to that thing. Like there's people who inspired me. Obviously 50 Cent. You had, T-Pain and Wayne doing their style of things, which was huge.
So while T-Pain did usher in this new sound of melodic auto-tune with rapping and singing, it wasn't until Kanye took the style and did what he did where Drake directly became inspired by it. T-Pain was pretty much like the sketch, whereas Kanye was like the painting, and Drake fell in love with the painting. He was inspired by the painting, right? It's like saying that your favorite food is pizza, but
we're not gonna act like 808s and Heartbreaks didn't change the fucking game. 808s and Heartbreaks changed the game, bro. When Kanye did that shit was super dope because every artist couldn't do it. He broke into different genres. They labeled it as pop. They didn't know where to put it at.
you didn't give Brett a shout out. You know what I mean? It was also around this time where T-Pain singles started to miss. Take Your Shirt Off peaked at number 80, Reverse Cowgirl number 75, and as far as making hits as a solo artist, the motion largely stopped. Then in the features department, things also slowed down. Outside of Blame It with Jamie Foxx, it was clear that the T-Pain stimulus package was definitely ramping down, and he caught that record with DJ Khaled. That was all I do is win, 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 no matter what. And while T-Pain's numbers continued to decline, the New Kid in Town was dominating as a featured artist on the rap and R&B charts. Say Something was number 1, right above it number 4, Aston Martin Music number 2, What's My Name number 2, Fall for Your Type number 1, Moment for Life number 1, and if you look at who Drake is doing these features for, a lot are with artists that T-Pain delivered big hits with.
Facts. All under that UMG umbrella. I'm on you, UMG. We still there.
We see people like Ross, Jamie Foxx, Lil Wayne, DJ Khaled. So basically, in a blink of an eye, this light-skinned dude from Canada was now the new guy for hooks. I just needed time, but here goes nothing. Then as a solo artist, Drake also flourished with Best I Ever Had being number 1, Successful number 2, Forever number 1, Over number 2, Find Your Love number 3, Miss Me number 3, Fancy number 4. So it took Drake around 2 years to pretty much surpass what T-Pain had done on the charts. And then at this point, T-Pain was really being fizzled out by 2011. Now, as far as the relationship between Drake and T-Pain, the common denominator between them was their friendship with Wayne. T-Pain had worked with Wayne a lot, and even before So Far Gone in 2008, Wayne took T-Pain on tour with them, and Drake was a guest at a couple of the shows. I'm going to assume that they probably met for the first time while on this tour. And initially, T-Pain seemed to be a fan of Drake. Even when he responded to Jay-Z's Death of Autotune, he did so on the Successful beat. So that new boy got me popping shit. And even
That was strategic as fuck, T-Pain.
worse, nobody around me is knocking it. It was also around the same time where T-Pain went in on Drake's Forever.
Due to all these motherfuckers hating so heavy, I done got enough bread to buy 20 more Chevys.
When Drake came in, I feel like he started to rap a lot more, not just like melodic rap, like rapping. Anyways, back on the conversation of Wayne and T-Pain, because this is really important. It was in 2008 where they even made claims of starting a group together. Discussions around a joint project titled T-Wayne.
I remember that. I remember T-Wayne. I remember
but
that.
never came to fruition. By the end of 2010, T-Pain was even supposed to sign with Young Money, but at the very last minute, they decided not to sign him.
But I was actually supposed to join Young Money. You know, baby,
UMG.
baby Wayne and Slim got together. They talked, and they don't want to sign you because you're like a liability. You drink too much. Sometimes you make a fool of yourself.
T-Pain was really excited to sign this deal. He even had a chain made.
This is the T-Pain's about to sign. He's about to sign to Young Money. Better after all this.
Young Money claimed that T-Pain was a liability because he drank too much, which seems to be the biggest cop-out ever, considering Wayne was an absolute mess.
Was a lean thing. I remember times Wayne looked like a straight crackhead. You know, if Wayne was your grandma or your sister. No.
Mess during that time. Birdman is not walking away from money because the artist is drunk all the time. Like, T-Pain was going old. And you've got to consider
They made Drake his competition and took him out the game.
how devastating this was for T-Pain, as at the time, Young Money was on fire. You had Drake, Nicki, and Wayne dominating the charts, and getting signed would have been the lifeline that T-Pain needed to reignite his career. However, the deal fell through, and he was stuck in a stale situation with Akon and Convict, which was a label that was no longer giving T-Pain the push that he once had. Akon started focusing on other business ventures, and T-Pain was left without much label support. When he dropped his next album in 2011, it only sold 35,000 units in its first week, which was nearly 5 times less than his album 3 years prior, which sold 168K. While all this is going on, he's seeing Young Money flourish. The Carter 4 sold almost 1 million copies in its first week. Drake's Take Care did 631K, and Nicki did 375. This missed opportunity with Young Money wasn't just like a business deal that didn't go through. This was like the nail in the coffin for T-Pain's commercial career. Speaking on that 2011
Yeah, that's crazy.
one of the things that held back its release was a feature from Drake, as T-Pain took to Twitter and said the following: "By the way, the song with Drake on it is the next single as well. So that's why I haven't dropped a new single yet. Just letting you know. Look, I need people to understand that a Drake single in 2011 for a T-Pain album, this could have drastically helped his album. It definitely would have helped." And it was years later where T-Pain spoke on this collaboration.
I wanted Drake to get on 5 o'clock in the morning, my record. I drove from Atlanta to Toronto. Chill with him for like 3 days. I did 4 records for his album. He did 0 records for mine.
And it turns out that T-Pain wasn't lying, as he did have backup vocals on The Real Her, which was something that producer T Minus spoke about. A lot of people don't ever notice it, but T-Pain is kind of a ghost on the record. He's in the background singing low melodies. I was blown away watching Drake direct T-Pain and telling him what to write about. I really saw his intelligence as a songwriter. Okay, so scratch this out. I don't like that. But this, yeah, I do like that. Yeah, take it up an octave. Up an octave. Did anyone tell him we're not doing like the heavy auto-tune shit for the album? Now, from T-Pain's perspective, this definitely sucks, and I can see why he would be pissed off that Drake didn't come through. But
And
when
that's
you look at the timeline,
The Real Her is one of my favorite songs.
and everything seems to fall into place. T-Pain was supposed to sign with Young Money, does some work with Drake that pretty much didn't get used, and sometime later he's told that he isn't getting signed. So this whole feature thing with Drake, this could have been under the pretense that T-Pain was supposed to be signed to the same label as him with Young Money, but it didn't happen. Which again really sucks for T-Pain, because he probably thought that everything he was doing was a greater play for his opportunity with Young Money. I'm not sure when he decided to pull the pin to get that chain made, but he definitely felt like this was a sure thing.
I went and got the chain made because it seemed like it was like really a real thing that was going to happen.
I mean, it's even possible that the work that he did with Drake could have made Young Money realize that he's not a good fit, right? And literally a month after Drake dropped Take Care, we get T-Pain in an interview voicing his frustrations about how Drake gets a pass for singing and he doesn't.
But I don't think it's cool when it's like T-Pain shouldn't be rapping and singing, and then it's cool for Drake to do it.
From that point forward, Drake's success rapidly increases, and while he's reaping the benefits of being the hottest new artist on the case that he destroyed music for singers.
We was actually going to the 2013 BET Awards. She said, Usher would like to talk to you about
Cause from that point on of auto-tune, R&B records stopped selling. They weren't selling anymore. He opened up the door for any Joe Smo who never took singing lessons to be able to just put out 808s and heartbreaks and take over the charts. And R&B artists who've been singing their whole life can't sell a record. When the last time Usher had a big moment? He's like, bro, I am the most talented in this area and I can't get a break.
He was like, nah, man, you really fucked up music for real singers. Now, that's the very moment that started like a 4-year depression.
So now think about this, right? He's getting told this while he's on his way to the 2013 BET Awards.
And when they announced all of the nominees, it looks as though Drake is the one who may be winning a lot of awards this year.
So while T-Pain is sitting in his seat at these awards, after being told something by Usher that would eventually trigger a full-on depression for him, he's watching Drake take home all these awards. He's probably looking at the whole thing, right? Like, Future is up for new artists. He uses tons of auto-tune. From here, things only went drastically downhill musically for T-Pain. In 2013 and 2014, not a single feature charted, and the success that he had early on was a distant memory. In the case of Drake, he had turned into what T-Pain was in 2008, helping 14 different artists make it onto the charts in those same years.
Eating crab out of Malibu and Noble. That's right, I like my girls BBW. With the Mercedes, I'm glad you reminded me, baby. Them shows is back to back now. Word, you ain't never told no lie. You ain't never told no lie. Got one watch, I can probably pay for life. All these chains, you don't change. We fuck all night, so things get right. Long dick, that ain't for the long talking. I finished shit so ill that we had to restart it.
Drake was going crazy with zero signs of slowing down. And this was something that T-Pain seemingly took notice of as well on a podcast with Snoop Dogg. He explained that he was hoping to get Drake and a few other artists together for a rapper turned singer project.
Yeah, I'm trying to put together this big rapper turned singer collab. Basically, it'll be me, Andre, CeeLo, Drake. Just the rappers that sing.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
So, trying to put that together.
As you should. And let's be real, this was in 2014, and although T-Pain used to be that guy, the industry is fickle, and he was cold as ice. This is a business, and I don't think it's too far to reach to assume that Drake wasn't interested in doing this project, and this probably made T-Pain even more bitter. At this point, he's really building up an animosity for the industry, because a lot of the people that he helped, they all turned their back on him.
A lot of people don't know, most of those features I did back in 2008, 9, 10, I did all of them for free. So I did a lot of stuff for free, and then, nothing was reciprocated.
Now, with respect to Drake and the work that he did for him on Take Care, whether
people did the same thing to Drake, bro. I know T-Pain is watching like, whoop, ha, every dog must have his day. I know he probably celebrated. he probably danced the night like a motherfucker. On the way up, the people you step on the way up are the same people you're going to see on the way down. And Drake is having that moment. Except, bro still putting out dope music. Only the test of time can tell. He got to keep dropping dope music. But that one song he got, that shit's hard.
that deal was written on the napkin or whatever, this was very likely an issue with Young Money, Cash Money label.
We in Miami and up another notch. That shit go crazy.
That deal was written on a napkin or whatever, this was very likely an issue with Young Money, Cash Money label and not Drake. T-Pain actually sued Cash Money years later. And look, T-Pain might have given Drake some backup vocals for a song, but realistically, he didn't help Drake that much. One could argue that Drake should help the guy that influenced his success But if that were the case, thousands of other artists would have to do the same thing. Look, the industry has never been fair. It's a business. Then it was just a year later in 2015 where T-Pain would send out another tweet about this Drake collaboration. Drake was supposed to be on 5 o'clock, and that didn't happen. So I gave up. So this Drake feature was obviously something that bothered him, and that's understandable. So it seems like T-Pain was really hoping that this Drake collaboration.
Why did he feel like Drake?
And Kendrick Lamar hate each other. Well, at least one of them hates the other person, while the other has tried many times to be friendly and squash things. One rapper seemed to believe that they were actually friends, while the other looked at their relationship as a business transaction. After 2 weeks of research, it's safe to say that one MC has lost every ounce of respect for the other. You guys really liked my last video where I broke down all the subliminal disses from Drake's new album, so I decided to stick with a similar style. And in my last video, I asked you guys to hit the like button, which is something I don't usually do, but the video did really well. And I don't know if that's why, but do me a favor and hit that like button again. Thanks. So when it comes to Kendrick and Drake, they weren't always on bad terms. Back in 2011, Drake had already blown up, and Kendrick had yet to release a major debut album. Now, Kendrick was definitely buzzing, but he was far from the star that Drake was. Even back in 2009, Kendrick mentioned Drake on a track where he pretty much admits that he thinks he's better.
Now my girl split the bucket to KFC. She listening to Drake, and all I can say, damn, cause that was better than me, baby.
So Kendrick identified really early on that the mainstream hip-hop wasn't really his thing. However, on June 16, 2011, Kendrick performed in Toronto for the very first time, and when Drake found out he was in the city, he decided to hit him up so that they could eat. And Kendrick would speak about meeting Drake in a double XL magazine and said, "That's a real good dude. He got a real genuine soul." We clicked immediately. And it was during that meeting that Kendrick provided Drake with a copy of his unreleased album, Section 80.
Visions of Martin Luther staring at me.
Kendrick said that Drake was the first person outside of his team to hear Section 80, and that Drake was blown away by the project. I even found
Shit was dope. That's my favorite Kendrick album.